All right, today is June 27th, 2022. All right, so we're done trading. Oh, well, obviously the trading day is over. It's freaking 7:42 p.m. And what a day. It's so funny when you look at the charts in perspective. Seeing this and then you see how this was somewhat confusing, you realize that actually it wasn't that bad a day, but trading it wasn't easy. It didn't seem easy at the time, but because it seemed somewhat confusing. But then you look at the charts at the end of the day, and it just looks pretty straightforward. And this is why sometimes when I'm trading, I like to put things in perspective, and I didn't today. I had the chart zoomed in a bit too much. Had I really looked at it from this perspective with this in hindsight, it would have made it a lot easier to trade. Instead, I had the chart sort of stretched out a bit too much. And therefore, when I was looking at the price action, I think it was like this. Therefore, I looked at it from here and it almost got me confused. But actually, when you look at it for what it was, and really this is really what it is if you think about it. And the point being that you have this big gap up, or rather, this, what I mean by gap, not so much the space gap, but the gap in terms of price. So you have this big gap in terms of, this, what do they call it now? This breakout. And then you have this trading range here, a breakout here. You technically kind of have a wedge here, really. But um, yeah, in relation to what was going on over here, the bars are not actually not that big, and therefore it made it look very confusing because I look at it now and I realize that the gaps. This is 5 points. It's not as big as it looks because now I look at it here and I realize that when I see this, I feel more comfortable taking trades at any point. And anyway, it's just weird now, and seeing it as I should have, maybe like this would have been easier to trade. And I say this because today wasn't the clearest day in terms of trading it. In hindsight, you look back, you go, yeah, looks straightforward. But this area was very, very weird. This area seemed weird. Of course, when I look at the tick chart, I get it. I understand what's going on. I see this, I saw this drop made sense, and in fact, taking a trade down here didn't was not an issue. This rise made sense, and this drop, I mean, in hindsight, makes sense. But you don't really see what's going on here, and a lot of it may have to do with volume and the fact that it was a very slow day. But excuse me, looking at this now, I kind of feel like, oh, jit, it wasn't as complicated as it did look. All right, so in terms of recapping, how did I read the day and how did I take the trades I took, and how did it go? So the way I saw it was we had this big run, and when we started the day, this is the Globex session, right? Um, I had an indicator that I used to use to highlight. It doesn't matter. I won't do it today, but I normally would sort of highlight the Globex chart, and I can't remember where it is. Doesn't matter right now. But anyway, so this was a Globex session. I mean, we opened on this bar here. So we had this one push up here, a pullback, a second push, pullback, third push. So you have a wedge here. It's two-sided trading, so chances are we're coming down. It's a trading range. We're probably coming to test here. I actually marked this out on the 1 hour chart, Thinkorswim. This is the Globex low, Globex high, the wedge. So usually whenever you have a wedge like this, the price is usually coming to test this low. So when we opened here, it made sense. You could have taken a short here. Um, didn't take it because I was being very conservative in my trading. I hadn't did not trade on Friday, and therefore I didn't want to just take one trade really early on the first bar without really getting a sense of what was going on. So price came all the way down here, right? As you expect. Looking at this chart, you had a big massive drop. Went how many points? 5, 10, 15, 20 points. Wow, that would have been half of my day done. And then look, 30, 40 already done. This move would have been my whole entire day done. Anyway, so it went all the way down and then stopped here, right? The Globex low, and we started to buy. Now, this would have been a credible buy. I normally prefer to have second entries. Uh, but the only issue with this buy for me was we had a very tight bear channel here, and then we went up, we pulled back, and then we went up really strongly. And for some weird reason, I don't know why I went. Did I go long? I think I went long here. Um, I'm just gonna pull up some of my. No, I didn't trade that bar. I didn't trade that bar. I started trading here. So it went up and then it came down, and then I took a short down here. I remember my friend asking, he was like, "Why would you take a short?" Actually, it was on this bar. Where was it? This bar looks a bit weird. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at MNQ. All right. Yeah, so I took a short on this bar. Um, I remember asking, a friend was asking, like, why would you take a short at the bottom of the range? Like, where's your stop? And that was a really good point. And therefore, I was not really comfortable with that short. So that went down, and then I shorted some more, built a position, and then got out roundabout on this low. Then I took another short here, and I asked myself, why was I doing that? And then got out here again. Really, really cool, quick scalps, just 5 points each. And then, went long. No, I took another short on this bar and got out around here. Essentially, I noticed that we were in a triangle at this point, and I just thought I need to stop. We may break out. We started to break out, and at this point, I wasn't too happy with the way I was trading. I wasn't sure what to do. Should I stay in? Should I go out? Are we going up to test the Globex high? And the reason why I thought we're going to test the Globex high is because I thought, okay, we've come all the way down, we should go all the way back up, right? But instead, we came down, and this is what happened. Anyway, but that's by the by. I had a bias, and I should not have had that. We went up. I bought here at the top, and I have a bad habit of doing that, buying at the top of a range, when really I should have just bought this bar, or just bought this bar. But I bought at the top. I think why I didn't want to buy this was because of this top. And I wasn't sure about buying this because it was still at the top. So when this had broken out, and I thought, oh, we have two bull bars, this is actually an okay buy, but my stop would have to be here. And where am I targeting? It's a trading range, big down, big up, so we're probably coming down. I got out here, and I was actually happy with my trade. It was a quick scalp, just 5 points up. And then somehow I bought up here again. And then got out break even when this pulled back up, and I had to stop at this point. Went long again on this bar. This we had a nice bounce off the moving average, and I remember saying to myself, well, if this is the first leg up, this is a pullback, right? This is us trying to go down, but this has failed. So we're coming back up, and it seems we're forming a wedge, probably a double top here. Let me take this long, and got out at the top over here. At this point, I was almost done. And yeah, I was trading NQ as well, did the same trades. So every time I bought on the ES, I would go on the NQ and do the same thing. At this point, because of the way I was trading so haphazardly, and I was very nervous, not nervous because I didn't know what I was doing, but rather I hadn't taken a trade for a few, like 4 or 5 days, and I wasn't just comfortable with my trades. I just thought I really should take a sell here. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. This is a wedge top. I really should short it here. Take this short, even if it pulls back. I'm confident with this. And in the end, I ended up paper trading. Now, because this is a wedge, you should expect price to come all the way down, or at least to come down and test it. I thought this was a nice wedge bottom. This was the first leg pullback, second leg pullback, third leg. When in actual fact, this was one leg down, pullback, second leg down, a pullback, and a third leg down here. So I've obviously miscounted the legs again, and was not really having fun in the way this was moving. Now, like I said, if I in hindsight things look a lot clearer. If I look at the chart like this with small bars with a small range, because obviously if you think about it, the range for the entire day was only what 38 points. It was such a tiny range. You know, well, 40 points. It was such a tiny range. It wasn't really that much. You could have put your stop anywhere for shorts here, for longs here. There was really no reason to be in any trade. This was probably one of the best days to trade in both directions. What do I mean by that? You could have gone long here, even gone long all the way here, gone long again here, made money, gone long again here, made money. With that position and just gotten out break even on one, bought here because there are buyers here. This would have been difficult to buy because you have three bear bars and one which was almost a fourth testing this low. But again, it's a trading range. two-sided trading, chances are we're probably going to reverse. Essentially, this was just one of those days where you just had to fade every single move that was happening, as it did happen, and it was just not as easy to pick up. Um, but yeah, it was just again one of those ones. I remember looking back in hindsight, seeing all these triangles as they're forming. I'm looking back now. I'm like, all the market was trying to do was go down, test the top, and come back down. That's all it was trying to do. But because there's all this two-sided thing going on in here, it just became harder and harder. And as you can see, this big drop just kind of went sideways over here. So it was just hard to trade as a result. All right, so at least it was a green day. I'm glad I stopped myself here. Ideally, what I think I'm going to do is just review some things I need to, work on. The fact that yes, just pulling the chart back always is helpful. Always is very helpful because it puts things in perspectives. In perspective, having a chart looking like this or like this is not easy to because it moves so quickly up and down. I think sometimes I'm taken aback by it when the chart is just moving so slowly, just tiny movements. I feel so much better. I'm not too flustered, which is why sometimes whenever I'm trading the other charts, I tend to sort of flatten everything out just to make things a lot like. For instance, I remember this day, I felt so much better having the chart like this than having it sort of all the way open like this. I think this is scary. Um, yeah, I know some people are gonna laugh when they watch this, but I find it so much better to just have the bars really small and just it just is not as scary when you just see the bars moving that way. All right, so that's my recap for today. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow and seeing how we get on.